above all, this election is a referendum on the corruption and extremism of Joe Biden and the radical Democrat Party. As you know, this week, Joe Biden came to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to give the most vicious, hateful, and divisive speech ever delivered by an American president, vilifying 75 million citizens plus another probably 75 to 150, if we want to be accurate about it.
Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology.
He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth? The enemy of the state is him and the group that control him. His speech was hatred and anger.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election.
How'd you like the red lighting behind him like the devil? Biden thinks making America great again is bad for our country. Do you believe it? That was in his speech. MAGA. MAGA, he says we got to stop MAGA.
But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
There's only one party that's waging war on American democracy by censoring free speech, criminalizing dissent. You see that happening. Disarming law-abiding citizens, issuing lawless mandates and unconstitutional orders, imprisoning political protesters. That's what they're doing. Rigging elections, weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI like never, ever before. And raiding and breaking into the homes of their political opponents. I wonder who that could be. We are the ones trying to save our democracy. Very simple. Very simple. Very simple. The danger to democracy comes from the radical left, not from the right. Not from the right. This November, we're going to stand up to this rising tyranny of sickness, lawlessness, and death, and we are going to take back our country. There could be no more vivid example of the very real threats from American freedom. South American countries, numerous of them, their leaders said, could you imagine if that was ever done in our country, what the United States would be saying about us? On a phony pretext, getting permission from a highly political magistrate who they handpicked late in the evening, just days before the break-in, and trampled upon my rights and civil liberties as if our country that we love so much were a third world nation. We're like a third world nation. The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters controlled by radical left scoundrels, lawyers, and the media who tell them what to do, you people right there, and when to do it. The evil and malice of this demented persecution of you and me should be obvious to all, and it is. We are being assaulted by the same group at the FBI and DOJ that just a few years ago declared no reasonable prosecutor would charge crooked Hillary Clinton. Now these same people, the exact same people, are sending the FBI storming through the home of their #1 political rival. If they talk about documents not being properly stored, yet they go in and take documents, dump them on the floor, stage a photo shoot, and pretend that I had done it, like I had put them all over the floor. These are very dishonest, sick people. Very dishonest people. This egregious abuse of the law is going to produce a backlash, the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. Before our very eyes, our beloved country is being taken over by the very people who turn democracies into dictatorships and into ultimately ruination. We will save our nation from people who are trying to destroy it. It was not just my home that was raided last month. It was the hopes and dreams of every citizen who I've been fighting for since the moment I came down the golden escalator. Just so you know, I was tougher in Russia than any president by far. Young guys come up, beautiful staffers. There are a lot of them here right now and here, all over the place, that just came up to me. You won Pennsylvania by a lot, sir. That's right. You're right about that. And all of a sudden we were tied, and then all of a sudden we lost by a whisper, a rigged election. Our movement is fighting against a corrupt group of unelected tyrants who believe they can wield absolute power over you with the help of a willing and very corrupt media. They think the deep state, not the citizens, should be the true masters of this country. We have no choice in 2022 and 2024. We have to smash the grip of this vile and vindictive political class. And if we do not, our republic and indeed our country will be destroyed, and we will never be able to do what is called a comeback. You won't be able to do it. It'll never come back again. Last week, weirdo, he's a weirdo, Mark Zuckerberg came to the White House, kissed my ass. Kissed my ass. Sir, I'd love to have dinner. Sir, I'd love to have dinner. I'd love to bring my lovely wife. All right, Mark, come on in. Sir, you're #1 on Facebook. I'd like to congratulate you. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it. But what the FBI did was corruption and election interference on a scale that we have never seen before in our country. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and now our country is being destroyed by people who got into office through cheating and through fraud. Now watch. The cameras will all turn off as soon as I say that, because they're not allowed to put that on. The cameras, they'll all turn off. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. You know why? The Mar-a-Lago raid was a desperate effort to distract from Joe Biden's record of misery and failure. The many disasters that our country and the world are now suffering would never, ever have happened if I was in the White House. You all know that. All of this stuff wouldn't have happened. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our country in less than 2 years. They could not have done it. 2 years ago, when I was in office, gas was $1.87 a gallon. And he bought an electric car, and he made the trip often from Kentucky to Washington, and he made it, and he'd drive down and put the car away and drive back. He was getting like 38 miles a gallon, and it was fine. But now gas is $5 and $6 and $7, and it's going to be going up. Think of it. We had to let the oil companies make a couple of bucks. I didn't want to wipe out the oil companies. Clean, beautiful coal. Under the Trump administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world with no inflation. They got carried away, windmills all over the place, killing all the birds, destroying all the values of homes, destroying the plains and fields, beautiful plains. If you want to see a dead bird cemetery, go under a windmill sometime. It's not a pretty sight. It's also the single most expensive form of energy you can get. And all of those big, giant turbines are built in China and Germany to a lesser extent. And you know, I saw a number the other day. The second largest arms dealer in the entire world is Afghanistan. Because they're selling, because they don't need 700,000 rifles and guns. 700,000. They need 40,000 or 20,000. I was soft. The only one that doesn't think that is Putin. He didn't think I was too soft. I wanted to just give him a nice, big, beautiful concrete plank, but they didn't want that. So we gave them exactly what they wanted, and they could have been finished in a few weeks. And not only didn't they give this free to Texas, where Texas could have put it up, they actually took it away and put it in a secure area where nobody can take it. That's just a terrible thing. Our country is paying a terrible price for the rigged election. I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first. Getting millions and millions more votes in 2020 than we got in 2016. I think we got like 10 million more votes than Obama got. Obama, you know, so popular, so popular. He's so popular. They say he's so handsome. Oh, Obama's so handsome. He's such a great speaker. What does he say? He says nothing. The radical Democrat Congress has turned our country into one giant sanctuary for dangerous criminal aliens. There's nobody that could play the role in Hollywood. All of Hollywood, nobody can play the role of President Xi of China. Nobody could play the role. He's a fierce person. Putin, fierce. They're smart. You know, a lot of times I'll say somebody's smart and the fake news will go, he called President Xi smart. He rules with an iron fist 1.5 billion people. Yeah, I'd say he's smart. Wouldn't you say he's smart? So I'm with President Xi, and I got along with him very well. I mean, once COVID came, it was just so, but we made a great trade deal with him, helped our farmers, helped our manufacturers, but I'm with him. And I really had a great relationship with him. And then I asked him a question. I said, President, he's president for life, by the way. So I call him King. I say, King. He said, but I am not king. I said, you are to me. You're president for life. It's the same thing. Joe Biden is the puppet of left-wing extremists trying to erase our borders, eliminate our police, indoctrinate our children, vilify our heroes, take away our energy. You know all about that. Take away our energy, if you can believe it. No fossil fuel. Destroy our Second Amendment, attack the right to life, and replace American freedom with left-wing fascism. Left-wing. We're going left-wing all the way. Fascists. They are fascists. We will expose this dangerous movement, protect our nation's children, end this radical assault, and preserve our beloved American way of life. In our schools, our newsrooms, even our corporate boardrooms, there is a new far-left fascism that demands absolute allegiance. If you do not speak its language, perform its rituals, recite its mantras, and follow its commandments, then you will be censored, banished, blacklisted, persecuted, and punished. It's not going to happen to us.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.